Hey everyone, welcome back to Sacred Cards. Today I'm very excited to share with you my Dinomorphia deck profile. I wasn't too happy with the last one I posted, so I really wanted to get this updated for you. The deck first got released in Battle of Chaos and got support in the Dimension Force and Cyberstorm Access card sets. The deck has been a lot of fun to play, and I've been doing a good amount of testing trying to perfect the ratios. I find the deck to be rather consistent and balanced. Also, please be sure to check out the other deck profiles and content on my channel. We're almost at 100 subscribers, and I really appreciate all the support from the channel, and it's growing beyond what I had imagined, so thank you very much. And subscribe and stay tuned for more profiles, updates, and content. I'm looking to upgrade my camera quality, lighting, sound, so stick around for all that. We'll see what happens in the future. So anyways, with all that said, I'll go through my deck list and try and explain the cards as best I can. Let's get into the deck profile. Starting off the monsters, 3 copies of Dinomorphia Therizia. If this card is normal or special summon, you can set any Dinomorphia trap directly from the deck. Then if your life points are 2,000 or less, it gains 500 attack. It also floats if it's destroyed. You can banish a trap from your graveyard to special summon a level 4 or lower Dinomorphia from your graveyard. 3 copies of Therizia. Next up is 3 copies of Dinomorphia Diplos. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send any Dinomorphia card from your deck to the graveyard. Then if your life points are 2,000 or less, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. If this card is destroyed, you can banish any trap from your graveyard to special summon a level 4 or lower Dinomorphia monster from the graveyard. And the last monster I play in the deck is 3 copies of Wannabe. I absolutely love this card, and it's perfect for this deck. It's a great tech card because during the end phase, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to excavate cards from the top of your deck up to the number of your opponent's unused spell or trap zones. Then you can set 1 excavated trap to your field and place the rest on the bottom of the deck. Well, that rounds out a very small monster count. Next is the spells. 3 copies of Potted Duality. Another card that makes great use of itself in this deck. It lets you excavate the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 to your hand, helping you dig for the cards you need. You can't special summon during the turn you activate it, but this does let you set up with your normal summon to let you play during your opponent's turn with all of your traps. Last of the spell cards, 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Again, I'm very happy with these ratios here. You only play a few monsters in the main deck, so it's good to maximize on your copies of those cards. Fossil Dig will let you add any level 6 or lower dinosaur from your deck to your hand. Whether you need a copy of Therizia or Diplos, this gives you easy access to your normal summon. Now that is it for the spells. Now for the traps. We play a lot of traps in this deck, starting things off with 3 copies of number 1, Dinomorphia Frenzy. This is my favorite trap in the deck because during your opponent's main phase, pay half your life points, fusion summon a Dinomorphia monster using 1 monster from your deck and 1 monster from your extra deck as fusion material. This card also has the effect that when your opponent activates a card or effect while your life points are 2,000 or less, you can banish this card from your graveyard and you take no effect damage from your opponent this turn. The other fusion trap is 3 copies of Dinomorphia Domain. Still looking to get secret rares of this card, so we're rocking the Megatin copies for now. During the main phase, pay half your life points, fusion summon a Dinomorphia monster using material from your hand, deck, or field. It also has the effect of Frenzy. When your opponent activates a card or effect while your life points are 2,000 or less, you can banish this card and you take no effect damage from your opponent this turn. Now for counter traps, I play 3 copies of Dinomorphia Intact. Again, I think this card got printed as an OTS Super in OTS Pack 23, so looking to get copies of those as well. When a monster effect is activated while you control a Dinomorphia card, pay half your life points, negate that effect, and destroy that monster. Also, whenever you take battle damage this turn, it becomes half of whatever your life points are at the time. Plus, during damage calculation, if you would take battle damage, you can banish this card and you take no damage from that battle. I believe all the counter traps share that same last effect. Next is 2 copies of Dinomorphia Sonic. Similar to Intact, but when your opponent activates a spell card or trap card while you control a Dinomorphia monster, pay half your life points, negate the activation, and destroy that card. Then destroy a monster you control. Also, during damage calculation, while your life points are 2,000 or less, if you would take battle damage, you can banish this card and you take no damage from that battle. Next, more normal traps. 2 copies of Dinomorphia Alert. This card is great for the grind game. I was playing 1 before, but recently bumped it up to 2. Alert can allow you to pay half your life points, special summon up to 2 Dinomorphia cards in the graveyard whose total levels equal 8 or less. Like the other normal traps, when your opponent activates a card or effect while your life points are 2,000 or less, you can banish this card to prevent effect damage for that turn. Last Dinomorphia trap is 1 copy of Dinomorphia Brute. I've come to really like playing this card, and I've been back and forth between 1 copy, 2 copies, but 1 for sure. You pay half your life points, non-target, destroy 1 Dinomorphia monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls. Plus, when your life points are 2,000 or less and your opponent activates a card or effect, banish this card from the graveyard and you take no effect damage for the rest of the turn. For the other traps, 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Such a good card for this deck. Because once again, you pay half your life points to negate a summon or the activation of a spell or trap card and destroy it. As mentioned before, I was playing Dinomorphia Reversion, which is also good because if you are playing that card, you can actually recycle the effect of these by paying half your life points to use that effect as its effect. But I did cut Reversion for this list, so may go back to it in the future. I do think it's a good card, but had to make room for some other things and trying to keep the deck at 40 cards. So next is 3 copies of Soul of the Supreme King. This is another great tech for the deck because you can pay half your life points to special summon 1 Supreme King Zedark from your extra deck. Its effects are negated and it is returned to the extra deck at the end of the next turn, allowing you to use it again with another copy. It also has the effect that when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, you can banish this card and 1 Supreme King Zedark to special summon 1 Pendulum Dragon, 1 Xyz Dragon, 1 Synchro Dragon, and 1 Fusion Dragon monsters from your hand, deck, extra deck, or graveyard. This gives you several new monsters on the board, and I really love that effect. So we have some targets for that in the extra deck. Another one of my favorites, 3 copies of Ferret Flames. I was playing 2 copies, but I bumped it up to 3 because it's just that good. This deck makes great use of this card because if the combined attack of all monsters your opponent controls is higher than your life points, and we get to really low life points in this deck, you can make your opponent shuffle their monsters back into the deck so the combined attack is less than or equal to your life points. Any card that makes your opponent do anything is inherently good in my opinion. So 3 copies of Ferret Flames. And last card in the main deck is 2 copies of Trap Trick. This card is here mainly for searching your copies of Soul the Supreme King to get that engine going, or your copies of Ferret Flames. Sorry, 1 second. My cat is being a nuisance. Get out of here. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, Trap Trick is here mainly for searching your copies of Soul the Supreme King and or Ferret Flames. Worst case, you can also search for your copy of Dinomorphia Frenzy or Domain to make fusion plays. You can banish a normal trap from your deck and set one copy of the same name that can be activated this turn. Now, that is it for the main deck. Now, on to the extra deck. Sorry, quick sip of coffee here. That's good stuff. Now, starting things off, I play 3 copies of Dinomorphia Rex Term. While this card is on the field, your opponent cannot activate monster effects or effects of monsters with attack greater than or equal to your life points. Plus, quick effect, pay half your life points. The attack of all monsters your opponent controls becomes equal to your life points. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a level 6 or lower Dinomorphia monster from your graveyard. So 3 copies of Rex Term. Next up is 3 copies of Dinomorphia Kentragina. An essential part of the deck. This 4,000 attack monster loses attack equal to your life points, but it has the amazing ability to quick effect banish a Dinomorphia normal trap, and that card's effect becomes this card's effect. So technically, you can use your copy of Frenzy to fusion summon this card, then copy Frenzy's effect again to get yourself a copy of Rex Term as well. Plus, if this card is destroyed, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. Last of the engine cards is 3 copies of Dinomorphia Stealthburgia. Love the artwork on this card, and it has a great effect of when your life points are 2,000 or less. You don't have to pay life points to activate trap cards or your monster's effects. It also has a quick effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can inflict damage equal to that monster's original attack. It also has the effect that when it is destroyed, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Dinomorphia from the graveyard. And last of the fusion monsters is 2 copies of Supreme King Z-Arc and 1 copy of Odd Eyes Archray Dragon. You make Z-Arc with your copies of Soul of the Supreme King, so its effects will be negated, but it provides a huge 4,000 attack and defense, and will return to the extra deck the turn after it is summoned. Although if it does get destroyed, you place it in your Pendulum Zone, then Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz monsters your opponent controls can't activate their effects. Plus, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, you can destroy that card. I was playing 1 copy, but 2 has come up far too often, especially if you resolve 2 copies of Soul of the Supreme King. You can get a second one on board. Odd Eyes Archray Dragon is a brand new card from Age of Overlord. This card's name is always treated as Supreme King Z-Arc. This face down card in the extra deck must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing 1 level 12 Dark Supreme King Z-Arc, giving you a permanent 4,000 attack and defense body on the field. Now the last 3 cards are my targets for Soul of the Supreme King. 1 copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, 1 copy of Starving Venom Predapower Fusion Dragon, and 1 copy of Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon has the ability that when another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation and destroy that card. If you do, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's attack till the end of the turn. Plus, if this card battles a level 5 or higher monster during damage calculation, this card gains attack equal to the current attack of the monster it's battling. So it can get very big and powerful. Predapower Fusion Dragon is a card I think I'd rather swap out for a copy of Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Its effect doesn't come up in this deck, but it's a free 3,600 body on the field. A good target for now. Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon is another card in which its effects can't be used properly in this deck, as it won't have materials and is not technically being Xyz summoned as you special summon it with your copy of Soul of the Supreme King. Although it does have a big attack, which can help you put pressure on the opponent and close out the game. All 3 of these cards are very free, which is why I enjoy playing the Supreme King package in this deck. Well, that is it for the deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you like or don't like, feel free to leave me a comment telling me what you think. Be sure to like the video if you did and subscribe for more content. Thank you for your support and enjoy the Sacred Cards. See you all in the next one.